क्लबफुट ने हमारी दुनिया को हिला के रख दिया था, लेकिन क्योर इंडिया ने रास्ता दिखाया।
मुझे पहले इसके पैरों के माल पता नहीं था कि इसको क्लबफुट है। जब यहाँ पर आई तब मुझे पता चला ये क्लबफुट का वो है।
क्योर इंडिया एनजीओ ने हमें काउंसलर्स से मिलवाया, अब वो हमारी लाइफलाइन है।
और उन्होंने हमारे को आशा दी
कास्टिंग ले धीरे धीरे करबे मेरे चेला खुट सही करिए
धीरे धीरे इन प्रगति तरह उनकान।
क्योर इंडिया के यहाँ आने के बाद मेरे को खुद सुधार दिखा।
इतने पैसे ना होए तो अब यहाँ पे क्योर इंडिया में हमारा फ्री में इलाज हो रहा है।
क्योर इंडिया की करुणा हमारी प्रेरक शक्ति बन गई है।
हमारा जो बच्चा है ये क्लबफुट की वजह से जो है ना, ये सीमित नहीं रहेगा। हमारा बच्चा और बच्चों की तरह जो है ना, खेलेगा, कूदेगा और हंसेगा।
क्योर इंडिया के सपोर्ट से, समर्पण से आज हम कामयाब हो गए हैं।
क्योर इंडिया अनेक अनेक
यह सिर्फ एक कहानी नहीं हो,
इटा क्योर इंडिया नु प्रभावित 29टा राज्य और बहुत जनकर जीवन कथा है।
Mr. Agarwal, I.A. Secretary, Department of PWD Minister, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, a very warm welcome to you. Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐄 Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐄 Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐄, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, thank you very much for coming for this very important, I think, celebration of World Clubfoot Day. And India has a very important role to play. We all agree to the fact that, you know, unlike what happened with polio, where India didn't champion the cause, and it took many, many years for polio. For the last 10 years, of course, you don't see it now. But Clubfoot, India is proud that it has reached a level in which eradication is being spoken of in the next couple of years by 2030. And how does it happen? A strong government, a strong corporate support, strong implementation partners of the NGOs like CSR. And despite the fact that there are about almost 40,000 children born with clubfoot every year, from the statistics that I have been informed, is a large percentage is being taken care of, and 12,000 plus by CSR itself annually. And there may be other organizations, there are hospitals. But the purpose of us to be together today, and I'm just amazed at this hall which is almost full, is your concern for a cause for eradication of clubfoot from India by 2030. I think we need to converse, and there's nobody better than Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐄 who's going to be speaking to us on a very simple process which India has adopted as the Ponseti method, is a non-invasive surgery for treatment of clubfoot. Thank you, Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐄. I mean, he's a champion, very silent. Many of you may not have even known. I've known him for some years. And I'm so happy and proud to share that there are these people who are doing phenomenal work, not only in India, but across the world. There is much that is happening with the government and the passion in which I think Mr. Rajesh Agarwal has landed here even before, because he was just landed from, I think from Bombay or somewhere. You arrived just now, from the airport, stayed here. And he made sure his flight came on time, so that he could actually be here even before the first plenary was supposed to be over. We will start with the first panel discussion. The panel discussion being led by none other than by Dr. Chatterjee, who is the mover and the shaker on the CSR space in India. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee, for really chairing this. And along with them, of course, we have a panel which will be discussing on this very important theme that we are going to be talking about the corporate opportunities and challenges in addressing disabilities with a primary focus on clubfoot. Now, clubfoot appears at a nascent stage. Unless it is treated in the first few weeks or first few years, it becomes a permanent special ability. And we have with us one of them in the panel today who still scratches his head. I wish I was informed about it when I was born, X years ago. Because of the awareness wasn't there. Because people were not reaching out. Today, with all the corporate guys sitting over here, I'm so happy that we're going to be speaking business in the first panel, which will be followed by the actual celebration and, of course, the lighting of the lamp, etc. And then we have a second panel, which I'll be chairing afterwards. And that will be on partnerships in addressing inclusivity in disability. Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝗶𝗶𝗄𝐴𝐺𝐵, sir, over to you and the panel. Please come forward and come and occupy the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier Williams, for that very enlightening opening address. And I think, as always, as you do, spark the internal conscience in each one of us to devote ourselves to causes that really matter. Thank you, Rajesh Agarwalji, for being here with us on this very important day. And to all our delegates and guests who are here today to listen to the deliberations of the first panel, which, as Brigadier mentioned, is called Corporate Opportunities and Challenges in Addressing Disabilities with Primary Focus on clubfoot. I have a very distinguished panel here. Dr. Matthew Varghese, who stood up and received the accolades that he richly deserves. Mr. Ashwini Saxena is not here with us today. Ms. Pritika Chan, welcome. SRF Foundation, Mr. Suresh Reddy, as always, such a dynamic presence. Debashish Satpathy from NBCC. Are you not coming on board here? Because this is what it says on the panel. I purposely, I think, pronounced your name right, as very few people would otherwise do, being from the Orissa cadre. Let's have one more chair, please. Ranjan, you are a doctorate, right? You are not. But Brigadier did refer to you as Dr. Mathai, so I'll make it Shri Ranjan Mathai. Praveen Karn from the Smart Minda group. Yeah, I've seen you from the beginning. I was trying to make sure he doesn't run the obstacle course. All right, so we're on board finally and ready to roll. Let me say at the outset that it is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here this morning. And let me also place on record the extraordinary work that Cure India has been doing, and Santhosh himself has been such a enlightening visionary in this field. I, on my part, am especially happy to be here because I still remember that when we were drafting the CSR law, section 135, and we had finished and put it on the drafting table, there was still Schedule 7 to be written. And what do we put as CSR activities? Many of you would remember, Ratnesh in particular, that the SDGs were unknown then. We only had the MDGs. And frankly, the MDGs was a global call. We had to make the law for India. And therefore, what should we put in Schedule 7? So we had the Millennium Development Goals up there, but we had to particularize it for India. And what is it that occupies the landscape in India in which CSR could play a role? Imagine that for the policy maker, every single word that he or she writes in the policy remains there for a very long time and changes the lives of many millions whom he or she cannot at that stage envisage. So there was a laundry list a mile long of 1,000 or 2,000 things that we should put in Schedule 7, but we had to club a few of them together. So in item 2 of Schedule 7, we have a very special place whom at that time also, luckily, we use the phrase differently abled. And that has enabled CSR to play a role in this very, very important field. I will not take any more time than necessary because I have such a distinguished panel and each of them has much to contribute. We're also very short on time, so I'll request each panelist to remain within about 3 to 4 minutes. I know it's a painful proposition, but we'll try and simplify it and keep it to our time limit. I will save Dr. 𝐬𝐴𝐷𝐵 for last, for the only reason that he is perhaps the single biggest player amongst all of us. But I'll begin then with Preetika, ladies first, shall we call it, and happy to hear from you. All right, okay. He has the most to say, so I thought I'd save the best for the last. But you need to move out by? No, you need to move out by what time? 11:20. All right, thank you. Yes, please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee, and it's wonderful to be part of this panel discussion here today. I think all of us feel very strongly about this cause, and probably that's one reason why we are here today on a Monday morning. And firstly, I would like to congratulate Cure International on the wonderful, Cure India on the wonderful work that you as an organization are doing. It's a wonderful team, and you can actually see the kind of impact that has been created on ground and in the lives of children. We have been fortunate enough to partner with Cure India for the past 4 years, and we've seen that impact being created close to our plant locations where we operate. I'm from Jindal Stainless, and it's wonderful to see the kind of model you have where you work closely with the government, with the existing government machinery, and we are happy to partner and support the program. I think for corporates, when we talk about opportunities especially, I think there's a huge opportunity where we can come together, we can collaborate and partner to make a difference in the larger communities where we operate. And I think the best thing about this model is that the kind of outreach it has, especially I think it becomes very, very crucial for the initial diagnosis to happen on time. And the kind of training that you organize for the doctors and also the entire process very, very seamless, ensuring that children are diagnosed at a very, very early age and also get the treatment. So as corporates, I think we can bring in a lot of, fill in the gaps, because we realize government hospitals at times, there is not enough time to spend with each and every patient. I think the fact that the Cure India model has counselors in place which again plays an important role in the entire treatment process, which is again, spans from 2 to 3 years in terms of the duration. So I think corporates can bring in a lot of value there in terms of really, really supporting such programs with a long-term vision in mind and ensuring that each and every child with a clubfoot is getting proper treatment and cure and hand-holding support as well. I think some of the challenges that I can also foresee is, as a corporate supporting this program for close to 4 years now, is also in terms of aligning it with the larger business at times, because your board, your as CSR impact becomes important. People want to see impact and they want to see how large or how much are you spreading out. But with the kind of treatment and the support that is required for a clubfoot, a child suffering from clubfoot, it becomes important to have that kind of hand-holding for not just 1 year, but number of years till he or she is completely treated. So at times, that becomes a challenge for us as a corporate, which I've faced internally. Aligning it with the larger business becomes a challenge when we talk about disability in general as well. But primarily when it comes to clubfoot, at times it's also the outreach. We want to reach out to many more, or we want to have impacts in hundreds and thousands, which probably with the kind of program that we look at and the interventions we look at becomes a little difficult when we talk about clubfoot in specific. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pritika. I think then I'll take on Dr. Varghese, give you an opportunity to tell us the extraordinary work that you've been doing.
Thank you, distinguished panel and Mr. Bhaskar. It's amazing, the journey that we've had in the last 15 years, and it has been possible because of people out here, people all over around the country supporting us. And it just happened by serendipity that when we started, we did not vision it to be like this. When we started, we felt that we must partner with the government hospitals. The reason we thought of it that way was because the poor patients go to government hospitals. The poor have no choices. The poor do what they do out of compulsion. They have no choice there. So therefore, the clubfoot deformity, when I was training as a postgraduate, was almost always operated. And in fact, one of the leading program developers for clubfoot children had a child with clubfoot. She was the CEO of Armani Corporation, the vice president of Apple Corporation. And when she went to this doctor in New York, she was asked, she was asking the doctor, how do you think you'll treat my child? He said, we'll start with casting, but invariably it needs surgery. Oh, you don't do the Ponsati's method? No, what is that? Okay. She was very savvy internet, and she knew about Ignacio Ponsati, because Ignacio Ponsati was not pushed by surgeons. He was pushed by parental groups wanting non-operative, long-lasting corrective treatment for children with clubfoot. See the whole paradigm shift from surgical to non-surgical. And she had, because she was an authority in terms of finance and management, and she told the doctor, a leading pediatric orthopedic surgeon in New York City, said, go and learn Ponsati's method before you touch my child. He was horrified. No one had ever done that to him. He was horrified. How can this arrogant lady talk to me like that? And she did just that. She went over to Iowa University, Ignacio Ponsati. He was a very low-speaking person. He was not dominant. He was very quiet, not a great speaker, Spanish-speaking. He treated the child, and I met him. He's a college-going student now. Normal-looking feet. No surgery done. No surgery done. And that's the importance of this technique. You can treat without surgery. And that's important for the healthcare sector because you free beds, you free specialists for other work. The bed freeing is a huge, you don't think that by CSR you will impact bed availability in a government hospital, but that's what you're doing. That's a huge difference. Again, when we started, we thought we'll only have medical colleges where teachers are there. So even if a doctor goes out into practice after learning from a medical college, the memory is there. And the long-standing benefit is there because the doctor in the medical college is trained. And so far, we have trained in our program over almost 9,000 doctors have been trained in this method. There's a very detailed, the God is in the detail, in the detail instead of the devil. The God of actual understanding of paucity is there if you train the doctors for this. So professors, associate professors are trained and they are good. To train their doctors, training under them, their postgraduate students, they all do well. And not just that. Now today we have, you go to any medical college in India, government medical college. If there is a clubfoot clinic, the doctor would have been trained under the CURE program. We are proud to say that. Any medical college in India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Guwahati, any medical college that is government, if there's a government medical college clubfoot program there, the doctor is trained by us, the program is us, and the counselor is run by us. Again, there was a study, I'll take one more minute. There was a study which looked at, are we dealing only with clubfoot and impacting children only with clubfoot? Remember, clubfoot is a stigma to the mother, mostly. Stigma to the family and the community that this particular woman belongs to. So it's a huge impact. So we tried to see, how does it impact socially all the families that are interacting with us? So we took two states, Gujarat and Maharashtra, and had two populations studied. One, children having clubfoot and their families, and proximity and income matched families in the same communities, but not having clubfoot children, not having interaction with the counselor. 400 plus, almost 442 in one group, 444 in one group, and almost 480 in the other, nearing 500 families. Two matched families. And when we looked at the results on the socioeconomic impact, and the quality of life impact, the families that had clubfoot children interacting with counselors, they were so much happier, their quality of life was so much better in the 3-year study that was done. So much better than the others. So we never expected it. We thought only clubfoot and they'll be happy with that. No. The poor families have access issues. The poor families cannot access healthcare easily. When they have a counselor known to them in the clubfoot clinic, that's a point of contact for the entire medical college. Any problem they have, they go to the counselor takes them to the doctor has somebody known to in the hospital, and therefore there is access, which is a real benefit. It changes the quality of life. We never expected this domino effect of the counselors benefiting. I think that's a fascinating turn of events for the families. I think I'll stop here because the domino effects, I think we need to study long term. Far too many, changing lifetime change for these children born with clubfoot, for the mothers, changing stigmas, for the families, changing their quality of life, for other children with other, or anybody in the family having a health problem, they go to the counselor, okay, help us, and the counselor is the contact point. It's fascinating, the domino effect, and fascinating, the support that you have done is reaching so widely in the community. Thank you.
Brilliant. Such an inspirational story, and you realize how one idea can change so many lives. And putting a counselor in place, what a brilliant idea. But it's not enough to just have the idea. You actually need to execute it. And that it's been done so well is a tribute to you and all the work that you have done. Thank you, Dr. Varghese. Let me turn now to Shri Ranjan Mathai to share some of his thoughts and perspectives on the subject.
I'll just take one. I have the Ministry of Health is being World Clubfoot Day. They had already announced this national webinar of Clubfoot training for Anganwadi workers, ANMs, pediatricians, and doctors on Clubfoot. It's a 1-hour program which I have to do, and they fixed the time at 11:30, and I couldn't change that. I apologize for that. So I'll leave shortly for the webinar because they are calling again and again for the webinar. It's a Ministry of Health webinar, and all states, all union territories are covered by this webinar. So I have to be there. I'll join you back as soon as the webinar is over. And thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Matthew. After that thunderous and rousing address by Dr. Matthew, I have very little to add. I've been helping cure. But if I may address the subject, I hope I'll be able to do it. One should never make jokes about disability, but the sheer cold in this particular place might soon disable my throat. Bhaskar, Dr. Chatterjee mentioned the Schedule 7, but disability has no class or no boundaries. But the impact of disability we know from the stories we have heard, how it makes different impacts on different categories of people. So in Schedule 7, Item 1 includes poverty. And if you can impact families of the poorest, I think you have done that. Item 1 also includes health, and that's again something you can target. Item 2 includes livelihood. And if you think of people who have been brought back into productive life because of the impact of your program, I think all these three categories make for a really good opportunity for corporates. Corporates got into CSR for a variety of reasons, partly legal, but also partly because they want to be good citizens of the country. And I think the opportunities of dealing with disability, we've just heard the boards are looking for impact statements. They want to see outcomes. And disability, particularly Clubfoot, we have demonstrated again and again visible impacts, impacts which cross the boundaries of families and go into larger society. And one final word, our corporate social responsibility, and we heard about the Millennium Development Goals. All this arose out of one concatenation of inspirational movements across the world, which finally became the World Council of Development in World Conference on Development in the 80s, and then focused so much on development. What is development? Development is ultimately human development. And this, I think, is the biggest opportunity for corporates to make a difference. So I think disability fits into ticks every box. It also makes sure you live as good citizens, not only of our country, but of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mathai, for that very inspirational address to us. Let me now turn to 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Satpathy. Please give us your perspectives.
Good morning to all of you. It's a privilege for me to be here. It's a privilege for me to be here. When you're talking about opportunities and challenges, my office is 200 meters from here, right? And let me tell you, not a single organization has ever approached me for CSR support for this kind of cause. Since 10 years, we are giving to 𝐬𝐴𝐚 for cochlear implant when there is a speech and that deformity which is there. And we are supporting them in a big way. But I don't know why. Nobody has ever, even we have projects all over the country, in Andaman also, in Sikkim, you talk of any district in the country, NBC is having a project. And we are constructing almost all the AIMs in the country, all the IITs in the countries, all the IIMs in the countries, and recently we completed our Bharat Mandapam, right? So that's an opportunity, let me tell you. And there are 2 PSUs, those who have already approached us, that we are not able to spend our money. We are sitting on 200 crores of our CSR fund. Can you please help us in spending this money? And recently we had a collaboration with them, we had a MOU with them also. What I'm trying to communicate is that it is you who has to go to them with a proper proposal, and which they will find that you are a genuine person, you are a genuine organization, your paperwork is fine, so that the CAG, when they're going to do the auditing, they're not going to ask so many questions to them. That's the only requirement what I'm trying. There is enough money with PSUs. If the total universe of CSR today in the country is 30,000 crore, right? I think minimum 2,000-3,000 crore is not being spent, and it's going to Swachh Bharat or Clean Ganga or something. And that's not because of their interest towards that, but because it's a compulsion for them. If they don't transfer this money, they will be in trouble. CAG is going to catch them. What I'm trying to communicate is that please explore all PSUs. Talk to them. You are doing such a wonderful job. When I see a child to whom we have given money for the speech or whatever, the child is not able to listen, then the first time he or she is listening or trying to speak, just see the face, the kind of satisfaction you get, the kind of blessings you get from the Almighty, right? But let me tell you, this CSR, what we're talking today, it's not a 21st century phenomena. It was there during Mahabharata time also. While mentoring and coaching Arjuna, Krishna also talked about CSR at that point in time also. Do you know what he said? He said, every professional has 4 yajnas. First yajna is called 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃. 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃 means a part of your earning you need to spend for the society. It's there in other religions also. After the 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃, then comes the 𝗤𝗨𝗃𝗃. That as a professional, you need to have highest level of concentration, right? Then comes your 𝐸𝐽𝐺𝐴. 𝐸𝐽𝐺𝐴 means you should keep yourself fit and fine so that you will contribute to the organization maximum. You are healthy. And the last but not the least is called 𝗀𝑎𝑗𝐴. 𝗀𝑎𝑗𝐴 is the yajna when you are absolutely updated all the time, you have beautiful domain knowledge, and you are able to contribute to the organization because of your domain knowledge and expertise in that area. So can I request in the back to run this 2 minutes, 3 minutes video, please? First one, 4 yajnas of a professional.
Let me share with you one management lesson from Mahabharata. This is on 4 yajnas of a professional. Arjuna asked Krishna while being mentored by him, what is yajna, the ritual offering? Krishna said, there are 4 types of ritual offerings. First is 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃. When you use your wealth for the welfare of the society, it is called 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃. Second one is 𝗤𝗨𝗃𝗃. When a person makes his actions his penance, his life becomes 𝗤𝗨𝗃𝗃. Hey Arjuna, following your religion is a kind of worship, but it is not religion based. It is eternal. It benefits the person as well as society. Third yajna is 𝐸𝐽𝐺𝐴. It takes a person into meditation. The fourth one is the 𝗀𝑎𝑗𝐴. All 4 yajnas are important, but the 𝗀𝑎𝑗𝐴 is most important since knowledge can distinguish between good and bad. The fire of knowledge can purify action. Knowledge brings focus and the essence of action. Knowledge frees you from bonds of temptation. Only through knowledge. Let me share with you the management lesson from this epic. The word yajna comprises of 2 words, yaj and ya. Yaj means worshipping or rendering service, and ya means whom. Therefore, yajna means worshipping the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Supreme Lord. A professional has 4 major actionable responsibilities. First, he needs to spend a part of his earnings for the society. This is giving back to the roots and called personal social responsibility. This is 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝐿𝐴. Second yajna is 𝗪𝗺, which refers to the commitment and dedication to his profession. Tapo means worship. Hence, for the professional, work is worship. For him, the assigned deliverables are prime and supreme. Rest are secondary. Third yajna is 𝐬𝐤𝐥𝐿𝐴. A professional need to maintain the highest level of concentration and be focused. Take care of his mental and physical health to be highly productive. The fourth yajna is 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿𝐴. A professional need to have superior domain knowledge and should sharpen the saw. This should enable him to differentiate between good and bad decisions. It would also enable him in developing the competencies of adaptability, quality focused, resilience, result orientation, perseverance, proactiveness, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃, for giving such a wonderfully enlightening perspective on what we are here to do today. Let me turn now to Mr. 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃, Group Head Sustainability and CSR of the Spark Minda Group.
Thank you very much, sir. The first thing I'd like to tell you is that I'm not an expert for clubfoot. I don't know this subject much, but yes, I do know disability, and I have worked around this subject for approximately 10 years. I represent an organization called Minda Corporation Limited, and under our corporate social responsibility, we have reached to close to 20,000 people with disability in India, and majorly we have been working for people with locomotive disability. If you look at our country as a whole, the majority of the disabilities in and around locomotive disability, which is close to like 50%. That too in some of the states like UP and Maharashtra. What we have done is that we have been providing accessibility and assistive aid to people with different type of locomotive disability in India. And we have been doing camps by the support of various NGO, and try to provide accessibility to people with locomotive disability. There's another work that we have done that is about employing people with disability in our organization. And we are proud to tell you that we have employed 1,000 people with disability in our factories. This is that one organization where you have people with disability working in manufacturing. In non-manufacturing, it's easy to employ them, but it's very difficult. And the journey wasn't easy for us, where we did a scientific exercise and we listed all types of disability on x-axis and types of functions on y-axis and tried to find the right fitment of them. So we are proud to tell you that we have people with locomotive disabilities, speech and hearing impairment, and visual impairment working with us in all our 28 factories of India. Now, my understanding on this subject, I would like to conclude by telling 3 things which is quite critical. That 3A. The very first A is about accessibility. Now, if I talk about accessibility, 50% of people with locomotive disability lives in the rural part of the country. 50%, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you that many of them are quite inaccessible to the services like Clubfoot here Cure India is providing. I'm glad to see the video that this has reached to the different parts of the country, but I also saw statistics about it that there are 50,000 children born with clubfoot every year. So this accessibility needs to reach to the rural parts, majorly in the panchayats, and there's a role to play for that. The second point which I'd like to talk about is about affordability. I also have seen one data which says that for treatment of clubfoot in a state like Delhi, it costs like 25,000 to 40,000 rupees. But for such services, if Cure India kind of initiatives come in, this would be the right solution. And the third and most important A which I'd like to talk about is about accountability. So at times that we feel that this is just a responsibility of the government, and Rajesh sir is sitting here, who is our guide also, and we have been working to supplement to the cause of the government. But let me tell you that this is also the responsibility of NGOs. This is also the responsibility of corporations, panchayat as a whole. There are people with disability who are not even having UDID, the disability certificate as such. So all such things have to be worked out. Therefore, I'm re-emphasizing and reiterating on the point called accountability. There's another data about corporate social responsibility, that out of that 30,000 crores that is annually approximately being spent, some 3% is only been spent on disability services. So this is a very less money. Perhaps this subject is a little critical, and that is why the corporations have not been working on it. But this is certainly a very, very important subject to be addressed. Well, with all the disability, what I believe and what we have learned by working for past 10 years is the impact is, of course, on social and economic aspects of life. And we have seen many of the people who have children with clubfoot suffering socially and economically too. The idea is that if we club together, if we collaborate together, and if we leverage strengths of each other, somewhere the government, some NGOs, some corporations, panchayat, and all of us can definitely deal with this subject. I'd like to stop here, sir. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Praveen. So practical and I think very grounded in the perspective that you have given us. Let me turn to Mr. Suresh Reddy, Lead CSR and Director of the SRF Foundation. Your perspectives, please.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. Good morning, all, and it is my pleasure being part of the celebration of World Clubfoot Day. So this is something new to me, being part of the celebrations. But as you know that, as per CSR point of view, majority of the contributions go to the education and the health. These are the two domains and attracts a lot of CSR funding, almost all 30% each, like that, more than that. And within the health point of view, the health in general, the preventive or curative health care, and people look at it. And clubfoot is one of the either you can treat it as part of disability part or the health section kind of thing, a small section. The overall portfolio, it attracts the CSR support and kind of thing. And the SRF Foundation, as we primarily focus on the education and the skilling, these are our focus areas of the CSR, what we have been doing. Nevertheless, we also into the field of health. So especially the Blind Relief Association in Delhi, we have been supporting it in a big way year-on-year basis. And also we have a couple of initiatives like working with the primary health center, a place called 𝗏𝗏 in Madhya Pradesh, and having the mobile health clinic there in 𝗏𝗏𝗃 in Gujarat. We have been doing that. When it comes to the clubfoot, this initiative, yes, last 3 years we have been supporting this initiative in a place called Madhya Pradesh. The districts like Dar, Barwani, Indore, Ujjain, Devas, Khargaon, Sarjapur. These are the districts we have been working for the cause of clubfoot on an average, on an annual basis. 600 children who were affected with the clubfoot by birth. So this clubfoot is one of the deformity we can talk about by birth, and it leads to the children missing the education, missing the employment, and living in the poverty forever if you are not treating it at the initial stage kind of thing. So keeping this in mind, that supporting this cause for last 3 years, and happy being part of here in this World Clubfoot Day celebrations. And it requires, as I heard that, I gone through the the statistics what published by the organizers. And also 1 in every 1,000 live births, the child births with the clubfoot. This is the cause, and it requires more kind of awareness creation before actually treating it the kind of thing. The awareness creation among the people, this is one cause is there, and it requires the CSR support and funding kind of thing. So that helps the people to think of when they're planning the CSR projects. So with this, and while working with on the ground for this cause, we work extensively with the district health hospitals, setting up the clubfoot clinics and training the ASHA workers, A&M workers, and the PHC and the community hospitals, the medical professionals there. And as a government is our national partner, and also there is an agency called 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃 Foundation with whom we are working for this clubfoot cause. I stop it here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Thank you very much. With that, we come to the end of our panel discussion. I know that we have completely overshot the time. I would have loved to take questions, but then I know that Secretary Government of India has many commitments hereafter. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to all my distinguished panel members, and wish you all the best.
May I request all of you to kindly stand for just 1 minute, and we'll request Dr. 𝐬𝐵H𝑆𝐾𝑟 Chatterjee to kindly give a memento to all the panel members. Shubham, can you come and please help? Volunteers? Please give the mementos.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar, and all the panelists for that wonderful discussion. So, again, a very good morning to everyone. Yeah, I'll try again. A very good morning to everyone. Yeah. So the thing is, since everyone is here supporting Cure India Clubfoot, so that already defined a default passion in all of us. So let's keep that passion for the next couple of hours. So we'll go ahead with the event. So first of all, a warm welcome to all of you to the World Clubfoot Day celebration at India Habitat Center, New Delhi. So my name is 𝐬𝐵H𝑆𝐾𝑟 Thakur. I work as Senior Manager in Indian Oil Corporation Limited, but today I stand here as a volunteer who worked with Cure India. And there are mainly two reasons behind that. The first one, that I myself is someone who had clubfoot by birth, But fortunately, or I'll say unfortunately, my parents didn't get a chance to meet Cure India. So as Dr. Matthew was telling, that earlier the people used to go for surgeries and everything. So I had almost 4 to 5 surgery at my childhood, but unfortunately it couldn't get cured. But again, the fortunate part is that with the support of the family, friends, and many people throughout my life, I could have a very independent life. And second thing, that I shared a same vision with Cure India and the same belief that no child in this country should be left untreated with clubfoot. So on behalf of Cure India, I again thanks everyone to, you have spared valuable time out of your busy schedule and joined this event today. So just a brief background about World Clubfoot Day. So it is celebrated annually on June 3rd, and the reason it is celebrated, we basically celebrate the anniversary of Dr. Ponseti, Dr. 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿. So as Dr. Matthew was telling about that, so Dr. Ponseti has given us a non-surgical, inexpensive, and incredibly effective method, which is a solution to treat clubfoot across the globe. It provides mobility, opportunity, and freedom to hundreds of children around the world. So, so today we are privileged to have Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, IAS Secretary, Department of Empowerment of Personnel with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. Sir, we are truly honored with your presence. And as Brigadier Williams was telling, that you ensure that you reach here on time and you ensure that the flight landed on time. So again, we thank you for that, sir. So we welcome you all to the World Clubfoot Day celebration, sir. Now I would request Dr. Santhosh to welcome Mr. Rajesh with the planter, sir. Can I have a big round of applause, please? So our next guest of honor again needs no introduction. We have heard him since morning. Dr. 𝐬𝐻𝑀 Chatterjee, IAS CEO, Anil Agarwal Foundation, Vedanta Group. I would request Dr. Santhosh to welcome Dr. Chatterjee with a planter. So as per plan, we had our third dignitary, Mr. Manish Patil, who's Director HR ONGC. And I had personally had a privilege to work under him because earlier he was part of Indian Oil Corporation. So unfortunately, he couldn't attend the event due to some official engagement. So we have Mr. 𝐬𝐵𝐵𝐺𝐿 Chatterjee, Group GM, Head CSR. So I would request you, sir, to please join us on stage, and I'll request Dr. Santhosh to welcome him. Again, our next guest of honor is again a very renowned personality, Mr. 𝐬𝐻𝑀 𝐺, Executive Director, UN Global Compact Network India. Sir, I would request you to please join us on stage, and Dr. Santhosh to welcome with the planter. Thank you so much, sir. Our another guest of honor is again none other than Rotarian Jitendra Gupta, the person who has been working to eliminate disability from this India and had done tremendous work in the field. So I'll request Dr. Santhosh to formally welcome him. Thank you, sir. Dr. Nidhi Pundhir couldn't join us physically in the event, so she's connected through web. So she's CEO 𝐻𝑀 Foundation. So I would request everyone to welcome her. Can we have the feed, please, Andrew? Yeah. So she is connected through online Google Meet. Yeah. Welcome, Dr. Nidhi Pundhir. We are truly privileged to have you here with us today. Now, I would request all the dignitaries to please commence the World Clubfoot Day celebration by lighting the lamp and marking the auspicious beginning of the proceedings of today. So just a small interesting thing, just an observation here. So like we saw, like everyone came together and make sure that our lamps are lighted properly. Yeah, sorry. So like everyone made sure that the lamps are lighted properly. Someone was, handling the candle, someone was making sure that the wind doesn't blow off the lamps and everything. I think same way, each one of us, I think people sitting in the room, the government bodies, the doctors, the corporates, the people from different institutions, have to come up today and even in long run, so that we can fight together, stand together, and make sure that this fight with the clubfoot continues. And not just clubfoot, any sort of disability should go on, and we make sure that the country, India as a country, fight any sort of disability in the future, and we stand together in this. So now I would like to invite, I would request all dignitaries to please join us on stage so that we can commence with the celebration program. Sir, please. Mr. Ravi. Please join us on stage, sir. Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐳𝐜𝐢𝐚, Mr. 𝗚𝗏𝐻𝑇𝐻 Jha, Mr. Jitendra Gupta, and Dr. Santhosh. Thank you so much, sir. So now I would request Dr. Santhosh to give an overview to the audience about the last 15 years about the efforts of Cure India, how we have been enabling a lot of counselors, lot of doctors, lot of hospitals in India to basically fight this clubfoot. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. And it's truly an honor for me to talk about what we did in the last 15 years. As Andrew is preparing for the presentation, 15 years ago, as you heard, we had a desire to work with the government, and we didn't know how to start. So I went around knocking all the doors, and it was so fortunate that this request fell into the ears of the then Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi. And this is 2008. For some reason, we suddenly got all the permissions, and we organized the first training program in 2009. But only in 2012, when Srimati Sheila Dikshit came to one of our meetings at the Delhi Secretariat, she declared that she was born with clubfoot. And that inspired her to actually activate this program. We expected for the first training program just 30 doctors. But that day, we got 85 doctors. So we realized that eagerness among doctors to learn. We expected around 200 children to be part of our first year program in 2009. We got 900 children. So that made us believe that there's so much of need, and if we are able to bring people together, we can definitely do something extraordinary. We were fortunate. John Abraham came and joined as a Goodwill Ambassador. We never pay him anything, but he gives his time to help us raise awareness. We organized the first National Clubfoot Conference at the Vigyan Bhavan in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The then Honorable Vice President of India came. That gave us, again, a national agenda. Our team started growing. This is when we came together in 2015, almost 250 people. So we started spreading. Dr. 𝐬𝐻𝑇𝐻 endorsing our program. You also see Rotarian Raman Bhatia. Rotary Club has been an extraordinary support from the beginning to take this agenda at the national level. 2017 is when we organized the first global clubfoot conference, and we were very fortunate to have the Honorable President of India come and talk. In fact, when Sri Ranjan Mathai and I met the Honorable President, he suggested that he would like to meet children. He actually said he was not very familiar with this disability, so he would like to see the children before the meeting. And this photograph was actually taken when he met and interacted with children. And the Honorable President challenged us and said, Not even one child should be left without treatment for clubfoot. The way polio was eliminated, Cure India and other organizations should come together to fight this disability. And today when we look back, I think it was an extraordinary journey when we received support from many people. But our center, we always kept children. Children, and if you look at that photograph, I think the two, yes, these are all children coming to our office. This is our previous office in Janakpuri. They come and celebrate their birthday with us. What a joy, transformation. All these children, the good thing is they don't remember that they had a disability. The treatment was started immediately after birth, no surgery, no scar, and their life is completely transformed. We started small. We were just looking at the map. And in 2012, I think we were in some 7 states. Gradually we started progressing. By 2016, we signed agreement with all the states in India, 2016. And 2017, we had this great celebration. But today, we are present in 418 clinics. We have more than 106,000 children. We have trained nearly 9,000 doctors. Now we are almost confident that we can completely eliminate this disability. If I go to that slide before this, see, this is a strong component of our program. We cannot do it alone. We are not, Cure India is not the important aspect. Children first, and surrounded by 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐐𝐢𝐴 𝐂𝐔𝐑𝐄, the 𝗏𝐵HK, ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, they are the ones who identify and refer. Of course, parents are the champions. We have many parents here sitting with their children who have gone through this process. Parents are the champions. And of course, doctors. When we first started working with the government hospitals, we too had our own doubts how this is going to work. But I have to tell, we have Dr. Vikas from Safdarjung Hospital. There are other doctors sitting here who has been working with us for the last 15 years. Tremendous commitment, compassion in the government hospital we discovered. And of course, Rotary, I mentioned Rotarian Raman Bhatia. We have the governor sitting here. And there are 42 districts in India. We have personally signed agreement with the 13 districts this Rotary year. National Health Mission, very strong components that help us, and the government machinery. This year, we have to confess that we discovered, I don't know why it took so many years for us to work with the Ministry of Social Justice. But the day we met Sri Rajesh Agarwal sir, he came to one of our production centers in the remote corner of Delhi. We never expected. I have to tell this. When I met him first, during the 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐐𝐢𝐴, he readily gave his mobile number and he said he is coming to visit this place. In fact, I had my own doubt, December 20th. That morning also I had doubt whether sir will come or not, because usually somebody senior at his level can easily tell that, no, I'm very busy, I'm sending somebody. But he came, he brought the director of the Delhi Institute, director from Odisha, the Nirtar, director from the Calcutta NALDS, and the joint secretary. And it was such a transformation movement for us. And if everything goes well, with 23 centers, National Institute like the Nirtar, 23 centers, we will sign agreement this month, and at least 2,000 more children will benefit every year going forward. I requested sir to kindly come. I know he was traveling from Bangalore today. From Bangalore, took the first flight, came, and very graciously accepted our invitation. See, these kind of moments help us keep going. Now we are very ambitious. The last slide we put is this. India was one of the last countries to eliminate polio. But for clubfoot, India will be one of the first countries to eliminate disability from clubfoot. I met Rahul Bashin from India. His parents settled in New York. He came, he also Googled, found out that we are doing a lot of work among Clubfoot. He came and attended the Global Clubfoot Conference. He literally cried and said, it was so unlucky that I was not raised in India. In New York, he underwent 20 surgeries. He's 29-year-old, looks like he will be wheelchair bound. Just recently he started New York Foot Academy. And he has a team that raise funds for us to reach out all the children. Rahul, you heard the story of 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿, 5 surgeries. Surgery couldn't correct. Without surgery, every child born with a clubfoot can be completely corrected. And they can lead an extraordinary life. And as a country, we should be very proud that we are going to make a history, and I'm very happy that you all are part of it. I would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Smriti from the Delhi University. She just joined us recently as a volunteer, but very strong, this year she brought almost 500 volunteers from Delhi University who are working with us very closely. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, 𝐬𝐸 College principal. You're sitting there very quietly, but thank you so much. I want to really recognize, we have Rotarian Pradeep Bari, who has been a great support, and of course, all of you. You all actually inspire us. Thank you so much. And mothers of children with Down syndrome, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I think Clubfoot had a really, I won't say tough journey, but it was a difficult journey. But thanks to, again, all the government bodies that has mentioned, corporates, even the families, the parents, that all came together, and they have built an ecosystem where they are ensuring that even if someone is born with clubfoot, the ecosystem, the people in the system would ensure that they would be identified and would be taken to the right clinic and will be given right treatment at the right time. So now I would like to invite Dr. 𝗬𝗀𝗃 Chatterjee for his keynote address. So, sir, please.
Secretary, Government of India, Mr. Agarwal, distinguished members on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It has, I think, from the morning itself, been quite an inspirational journey for all of us. And now as Santhosh spoke, I realized how difficult it is to actually champion a cause over several years and then reach what he now sees as the cusp of success. And as our very intrepid Master of Ceremonies said, you need the cooperation of a number of agencies to see a cause like this being espoused with so much commitment. The government, of course, corporates, NGOs, civil society, of which I include Rotary and such other organizations. It is to me a revelation that instances such as this, disabilities such as this, and I think Brigadier William also alerted us to the fact that by 2030, we can actually eliminate this scourge from our country. That goal being so close also inspires us to the fact that it can be done. The sooner we can, we will really serve a whole host of that population, that poorer sections of the community that we need to reach out to. Somebody rightly mentioned that when the CSR journey of this country began, way back on the 1st of April 2014, we were looking at about 10,000 companies, 12,000 crores. Now we have close to 19,000 companies, and we've gone from 12,000 crores to 30,000 crores. So the corpus has expanded and will continue because India is on a growth path. We're at about 8.2% GDP growth. So the kitty of CSR will continue to rise exponentially. And as we do, I hope that what then began as a modest journey will allow CSR funds to flow from concerned and dedicated corporates to allow these kinds of disabilities to be virtually eliminated from our country. If we can successfully do that, it will be, I think, 𝐬𝐸𝗶𝗶𝗃 sahab, a source of tremendous satisfaction. And when I hear how much you personally have been committed to the cause, it also reinforces my faith to that section of the population which is often much maligned, which is called the bureaucracy. And sometimes when you see such enlightened and dedicated bureaucrats, it reinforces our faith in the governmental system. So with all of us here today, sitting together, working together, I wish on this International World Clubfoot Day, every one of you, all the very best, and look forward to seeing this kind of disability eliminated from the map of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. I think, sir, I would like to personally thank you because once I came to know about you when Dr. Santhosh mentioned that you will be joining the event and your contribution to CSR, I think that has enabled corporates to be part of the community, serve the people. So thanks again for that, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. So now moving ahead, I would like to request Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝗶𝗃𝗃, CEO SL Foundation, for her address, please. Alfred, can we have the video feed, please? Yeah. Over to you, ma'am. You're on mute, ma'am.
I have unmuted myself.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Right. No, thank you so much for inviting over, and my apologies to Santhosh and the entire team not for being there in person because of certain other commitments today, but I'm glad that I'm able to participate online, but my huge respect for all the dignitaries and absolutely an honor to be amidst such an honored panel. I think it's such a noble cause, and it's been a delight for us to be partnering with the Cure International India Trust. And I'm going to make certain very honest statements here, especially when we were going through a very big process of due diligence. Of course, today is World Clubfoot Day, and it was such a pleasure also to hear as a public health person, as I recognize myself, from Dr. Santhosh that India could be reporting complete elimination, and that is a very, very positive and good news. And I think we can give a lot of credit to your International India Trust, and one person, Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝗶𝗃𝗃, who I have in person respected, not only because I work in CSR space, but way before that, I have known his work, seen him commit so much time, and then make the larger population aware about something which otherwise is not in common knowledge. The honest statement that I wanted to make was that I think the application that the Cure International filed with us during the 𝐬𝐸𝗶𝗃 grant process, by itself was so revealing to the larger, I would say, lobby of the subject matter experts, as well as the selection committee, as well as jury, that it is possible to cure clubfoot without surgeries. And that was, I would say, a big revelation. And I remember the day Santhosh walked into my office. I think I still have, I should bring the little shoes here, which sorry. So I always keep this, as a reminder in my office where I work. And I always thank Dr. Santhosh for educating me. And this reminds me of simplicity and innovation and timeliness in medical care, that something as simple as this can actually completely prevent disabilities. And this is what the organization is all about, continuously thinking, continuously, and as I heard that you can actually keep changing as per the growing size and the need of the baby. And I remember the conversation that happened during both sub-jury. In fact, on our sub-jury, we had somebody who felt very, very strongly and emotionally about the clubfoot. I wouldn't call it disorder, but, people who are born with it, and how the life completely changed only because the child was not diagnosed in time and it wasn't corrected in time. And it was one vote on jury which went very strongly in favor of the application. And then again in the jury, of course, the case was discussed at length, and it was a very emotional moment. I want to share that. In fact, of course, 𝐬𝐸 grant is a very competitive process, and other streams are equally important. But then this was a process where we also learned a lot, and there was education that happened. Post which we have tried to make the appeals go to all employees of 𝐬𝐸, which includes almost 150,000 people. They come forward, they donate, they want to volunteer, and which is over and above the grant that we could make towards this cause. But I do want to mention, and I really want to pay my regards to Dr. Chatterjee, that we are able to, through the CSR law, we are able to contribute to such meaningful causes which otherwise remain a cause for, disability-adjusted life years, which then hinders the economic growth, which we all are aware of. So I would say that, the organization is making a very, very focused effort, which is much needed in this direction. And if we can eliminate completely, nothing like it. The other part which I really want to mention again here is that it is the early diagnosis and prevention which really needs attention. So if we have other corporate social responsibility champions in the room, or donors in the room, or individuals, champions, volunteers, I think we can all participate in the awareness campaigns, and that is what makes a lot of difference. Parents, when the baby is born, perhaps they are not aware. I think there is a big network of pediatricians that also works with another network called 𝐸𝐸, which is around child protection and child rights. But then we do have a very big network of pediatricians attached to that forum as well. So if we could possibly have a bigger network with pediatricians where early diagnosis on day one can happen, and if there is any pre-birth possibility of diagnosis, I think this is completely avoidable disease, so as to say. So we are with you, Cure International India Trust and like-minded organizations. I also want to bring in another example, which was a big learning for us when we were doing due diligence for 𝐬𝐸 grant. We were traveling in the valley of Kashmir, and especially in the areas which are affected, mine affected areas. And we learned that a lot of children lose their limbs because they get into areas where there are mines. And this is this is another partner organization called 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿 International, and we learned from them that they have to change the limb every 6 months or every year for a growing up child. And if we are able to provide that support in time, children growing into adults can live a completely normal life. But there is very little attention, and when we hear that 30,000 crore is available even within CSR, often I have seen that issues of disability or issues that need constant attention and care, they do get left out because there is recurring cost in these matters. I would rather want to say that it is always possible to measure the impact. We have so many children who have joined the mainstream sports, mainstream education, mainstream employment, because we've been able to support them on a regular basis, and we've been able to do our outcome and impact assessment on case-by-case basis, and we can trace them back, as we call it, tracking footprints. I think it's the same that can go with Clubfoot. We can invest and we can trace back, and after 18, 20 years, we'll be so proud that we made that intervention because the individual has been able to join the mainstream development and amazingly growing economy of our country. So I think it's the biggest contribution we can make towards nation building, and I sincerely thank all the organizers, and once again, thank all the dignitaries out there for making this mission a success. Thank you, Dr. Santhosh, for inviting me over. And once again, apologies for not being there in person. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those words. And as you mentioned that sometimes most of the complex problems have the simplest solutions. So that's what Cure India is trying to do as well. So now I would like to invite Mr. 𝐬𝐴𝐺𝐸 for his address.
Respected Rajesh ji, Dr. 𝗬𝗀𝗺𝗏 Chatterjee, District Governor of the Rotarians, and Santhosh ji, thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful, eye-opening event. I also must admit, like Mr. Kern in the previous session, that I didn't know so much about Clubfoot, and moreover, I didn't know that Cure India is providing an end-to-end solution for the past 15 years. I mean, it's really a salute to your efforts and you have all the components placed. I think it's a ripe case for a CSR organization to be standing with you so that we can multiply your good work, and as you have already pledged yourself, Agenda 2030, that we will be the first one to eliminate disabilities arising out of Clubfoot. I mean, that's an amazingly simple, perceptive pledge, which I think requires a whole lot of agencies, a whole lot of coordination between the agencies. And I very proudly want to volunteer for this cause as an individual, also as an agency. Because I represent the UN Global Compact. Some of you may be aware, many of you may not be aware, and that is totally our shortcoming. So basically, we were formed at the turn of the century by the then Secretary General Kofi Annan, and he was perceptive enough back then that when he launches the MDGs, unless the private sector contributes to it, we may not be achieving it in full. And as a result of that, the journey began with 60 corporates. Now we are proudly, we can profess that 23,000 corporates across the globe are our agents, are our members, are our votaries. So what we achieve through this Global Compact is implementation of the 10 universal principles related to what is now very convenient shorthand ESNG, which you can map to the SDGs, and which are also the 10 universal principles that UN Global Compact was formed with. I will not go into those details right now, but suffice it to say that it is a voluntary initiative, so the corporates decide to become our members, and once they become our members, we work very closely with them, and they lead the initiatives, and we as the Secretariat in India support the corporates to achieve and realize whatever they want to achieve. So our services include, apart from convenings and providing platforms, actual on-the-ground implementation of CSR projects, forging out partnerships between the like-minded organizations who are working on the ground, and providing the necessary local or national or global support that they may require. So I today dedicate myself that I will be working very closely with CURE to support. He also has a very strong passion about the kind of forestation we do, and we have had a long conversation. So today is not the occasion, but I just want to highlight that he's a man with a vision for India, and I think we need more such Santhosh ji who can weave together such a wonderful program. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Like you mentioned that you'll be supporting us. So, sir, every drop matters, every help matters, every support matters. So, I personally am a strong believer in the story of 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So, I don't know if you have heard about it. So, it's about making a difference. So, now I would like to invite Rotarian Jitendra Gupta to address the gathering.
Thank you. I believe it's still afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon everyone. मेरे को जब तक पीछे तक आवाज़ नहीं आती पता नहीं चलता सब मेरी बात सुन पा रहे हैं कि नहीं. Good afternoon. Much better. आप सब जगे हुए हैं तो मेरी बात सुन सकते हैं. Chief guest राजेश अग्रवाल जी, Dr. Santhosh from CURE India, dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, CSR partners, from Rotary side, past District Governor Raman Bhatia, and I saw past President 𝗟𝗶𝗃𝗃. Friends, I am professionally an advocate and District Governor of Rotary. Rotary में जो district की definition है, that is very different from the district as you see. Otherwise, Delhi itself has multiple districts. But in our case, in Rotary, the district means Delhi, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Palwal, Rewari, Narnaul, Mahendragarh, Rohtak. That makes one Rotary district, and we have around 137 clubs and more than 5,000 Rotarians, and we have been associated with various causes. This issue has been personally very close to my heart. Few years back, 2-3 years back, the cause of the specially abled. In my professional capacity, I had represented students from the specially abled categories in High Court of Delhi, in High Court of Punjab, and in Supreme Court to ensure that they get admission in MBBS under the PWD category, and I have been able to help them get admissions in some of the best medical colleges in India, including Maulana Azad, Safdarjung, UCMS, Rohtak Medical College. It was a long battle with the government, but finally we were able to do because there was some change in the guidelines. Coming to the Rotary side, we talked about polio and we talked about Clubfoot. Rotary worldwide has been involved with the polio movement throughout, and they ensure that polio gets eradicated from India and now from the world. And every year, as Rotary, we are contributing $50 million for the cause of polio itself. And that $50 million is matched 1:2 by Bill and Melinda Gates to the tune of $100 million, and this helps fund the polio vaccines in the 2 countries where the polio is still left, which is Pakistan and Afghanistan. And unless and until polio is free from there, the polio is not free from the world. Even though in India, it's been 13 years and 10 years to the certification of being a polio-free country. Similarly, as the issue of Clubfoot, since we are celebrating the World Clubfoot Day, Santhosh ji gave us an opportunity, and in 2017, we started teaming up, and we started with partnering in 5 clinics in prominent hospitals in the Delhi NCR, which has now reached to 7. And for last 7 years, we have been working for this cause, and more than 3,000 children have benefited for this through Rotary. So I will also compliment the clubs which are here in the meeting today. The issue of CSR was described by one of the speakers that the origin comes from Mahabharata. And even though in Indian context, the CSR law is new, but we all know that the corporates have been contributing, even when the CSR law was not existing, maybe for the ATG benefits, but since time immemorial, some amounts were coming. Rather, I would say, sir, humbly, to the government also, that now the quantums have increased, but the number of corporates who would be contributing are reducing because the ATG under new regime is not available. No, I'm saying the ATG under new regime is not available, so only the companies which are now covered under CSR will get any tax benefit. Because the income tax benefit of ATG, which was earlier available, that anybody could have contributed even 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees and availed an income tax under ATG. In the new income tax regime, that facility is not available. But as I said, even though the quantum has increased, because with the mandate of CSR coming in, the number of the corporates are increasing, and so is the volume of the money that is flowing into this. In this year itself, in Rotary year, our Rotary year starts from 1st July and ends in 30th June. In this year itself, thanks to the CSR partners, we have done projects worth almost $1 million in Delhi NCR itself through CSR. And I would only say 2-3 quick pointers that the CSRs are all corporate people and they understand the word leverage. Presently, you are using your CSR, spending your money and doing a project. As Rotary, I am offering you a partnership wherein if you are involving us in your initiative, mapping your initiative with Rotary, then we will also contribute and our Rotary International will also contribute, and probably by that leverage, by Rotary partnering, the same amount of funds can be used to maybe do double the amount of work that you are already doing. That is what we are doing in the $1 million that I have already talked. So for the Clubfoot initiative, those CSR companies which are there, as using this platform, are inviting them to hear us, talk to us and see if we can partner, and for the same cause, Santhosh ji can be the pivot for that we multiply our efforts. And the second thing that when I heard, and in fact the MOC was also talking about, is still there is some lack of awareness about the way it has to be cured. I mean, still the first thing that comes to our mind when we think of Clubfoot cure is the traditional surgery. So I think even the awareness needs to be spent. And if we can come up with some nice flyers in English, Hindi and other vernacular languages, which all of us can put in various social WhatsApp groups or social media, why don't we do that? Even today when we wake up, each one of us is receiving tons of forwarded material which have no benefit to anybody. So let's utilize our social media networks for something meaningful. One graphic which does not talk too much, but which hits the message as to what is the cure of the Clubfoot. If that can be done, I think it can make a difference in the awareness aspect also. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to serve the community.
Thank you so much, sir. I think, as again you mentioned, small steps is all about the awareness. And thanks again, sir, for all the efforts from the Rotary clubs and everything. So, just few numbers. like we have been discussing since morning, so every year we are saying that 50,000 kids are born with clubfoot. So it's not just 50,000 kids, it's 50,000 families, 50,000 mothers. In fact, each and every one who's associated with that kid. And we talk about Cure India. Last year, Cure India, with the help of different government bodies, doctors, hospitals, counselors, corporate CSR funds, and other stakeholders, have helped more than 12,000 kids across the country to defeat this disability. But again, there's a huge gap. Still, we see almost 38,000 of kids who may not be getting treatment properly across India. So with the same zeal and the same passion, we are highly enthusiastic to launch our Next 2000 campaign. Under this campaign, we aspire to treat next 2000 kids and continue the sprints with next 2000 and so on. So we don't stop at next 2000, we'll just keep taking the next 2000 slot on and on. So like in software industry, so I'm a techie by heart. So in software industry, we have a term called sprints. So whenever we are developing an application, we take sprints. So this week we'll be completing this feature. This week we'll be rolling out this thing. So same way at Cure India, we are targeting a sprints of next 2000. So as everyone has mentioned here, India was among the last nations to eradicate polio. But as Santhosh sir and others are sharing the same vision, that we'll be the first one to eliminate this disability. So with these thoughts, we would request our dignitaries to launch the Next 2000 campaign and set the stepping stone towards Clubfoot Free India. Sir, please. May I request a couple of kids at the back who can join us during this launch part? Few children who can join us during this launch. Please.
The reason behind launching this Next 2000 is, even at this point of time, we have almost 2,000 children who do not have support. So we thought we should always ask support for this 2,000 children. But again, when we get support for this 2,000 children, because of our working with the government, we have again thousands of children coming forward for this treatment. So this will be a continuing kind of effort from our side to raise support, and we are very happy that we are launching this campaign.
Can we again a big round of applause for these wonderful kids here, please? Thank you so much. So now it's time to hear from our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal. So we truly appreciate your patience, sir. So, and at the same time, this event was, apologies for this. So we have an AV for Next 2000. Can we have the AV, please? Yeah, apologies for that.
Hi, my name is Mansi. I was treated at 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿𝐴 by Dr. Vineet Arora. I am so happy because I can run and play with my friends now. Thanks to the wonderful doctors and counselors at Cure India. There are almost 2,000 kids just like me who need help. Did you know that over 1,06,000 children have been treated at 418 Cure India clinics across India in the last 15 years. All of them are now able to live fulfilling lives. They run, many are footballers, some have become national level tennis players, others are dancers, and some are even national skating athletes. Clubfoot can be completely treated, but almost 2,000 children are waiting every year for your support. We appeal to your goodwill to raise funds for the next 2,000. Your support can ensure that every child who is born with clubfoot gets the care they need to live a happy and healthy life. Please support us and make a difference. Support the next 2,000. Thank you.
So as I was mentioning earlier, so Rajesh sir has been sitting very patiently with us since morning. Since he was supposed to come at 11:30, but he made sure that he reached on time and doesn't miss a single event. So he's been there with the panel discussion, he's there for the launch part. So now I would request you, sir, to please address the gathering and share your thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Himanshu, and respected dais and all the dignitaries. Very good day to all of you. So when I joined this department 1.5 years ago, so though I had spent, I guess, 33 years in administrative service, worked in various districts of Maharashtra and at various positions in Delhi, the interaction with disability sector was very low. So as a bureaucrat, as well as a member of society. So census 2011 said 2.2% people in India have disabilities. WHO says 10 to 15%. So the truth is somewhere in between. But if there are even 5% people with disabilities in the country, in the society, why don't we really see them? Why don't we really interact with them? Why don't we meet them on every bus stop, on every flight we take, on every train we take, in every school, in every cinema hall, in every shopping mall? So there is a lot of stigma in the country. That's number one factor. And then obviously, the accessibility issues are there. So let us say a blind person has to take a taxi from point A to point B. So we can start counting the barriers. आजकल ओला या उबर मंगवाना है तो उसका ऐप ही एक्सेसिबल नहीं है तो किसी का हेल्प लेना पड़ेगा. फिर घर से नीचे उतरना है, लिफ्ट में जाना है, अगर लिफ्ट में स्पीकर नहीं है जो फ्लोर अनाउंस करता है, that's more important even than the braille on the buttons. So then again the person is dependent on someone and so on. So throughout Delhi में आप बता दीजिए 1 kilometer or even 100 meter on any Delhi street which is accessible to the wheelchair, which is accessible to the blind person and to person with other disabilities. You won't even find half a kilometer stretch end to end which is fully accessible. So lot of issues in schooling and so on. So that's why probably the discourse has been limited only to the people who are affected by it or by the families who are affected by it. It's only in recent years that globally and especially in India also, these issues are being discussed more openly, and society as a whole and corporate sector also is opening up to it. So broadly in the country, 1/3 disabilities at childbirth, 1/3 is during your adult age, you get an infection, you get an accident, or it's a progressive disease, and 1/3 is at old age. Old age में तो unless it is severe disability, we sort of take it for granted कि बुढ़ापे में hard of hearing आएगा, low vision आएगा, low mobility होगा. So in that sense, every one of us who doesn't have disabilities at the moment will have some disability in future, or we might have temporary disabilities like fracture हो गया और कुछ हो गया. Only then we realize how tough the life is. So whenever I see a person with disability and doing well in life, it's truly, every story is truly inspirational. That despite so many challenges, one has fought through all the challenges, societal challenges, physical infrastructure challenges, and so on, and then done well in life. And it's duty of every one of us to ensure that every child born with some disability, at least they get, one is not sympathy, अगर हम कहेंगे हाय बेचारा ऐसे हो गया, या अपनी सोसाइटी में तो कई बार होता है पिछले कर्मों का फल होगा, so that discourse is changing now. So sympathy is giving way to empathy, that they are equal members of our society or our families and the whole part of society. So that is very important. And that is the same thing when I meet corporate sector, I request them कि आप दया भाव से पैसा मत दीजिए और दया भाव से नौकरी मत दीजिए. So what is the best the corporate sector can do for them? Obviously is to give them jobs, rather than give out doles. आपने जॉब दे दिया, आदमी अपने पैरों पे खड़ा हो गया, तो one leads a dignified life, शादी भी हो जाती है, and the family also then can get into other things also. But job भी ठीक है, the whole SDG narrative, the ESG narrative, the DEI narrative, कि डाइवर्सिटी हायरिंग कर रहे हो अच्छी बात है, बट उसी कारण से हायर कर रहे हो वो भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Whenever there is a job opening, let us say blind person is applying or someone on wheelchair is applying, तो आपके दिमाग में ये नहीं आना चाहिए काम कैसे करेगा, कि दया भाव से नौकरी नहीं देना चाहिए. One should do the, जैसे स्पार्क मिंडा के परवीन कह रहे थे कि जॉब मैपिंग किया, अब ये दया भाव से नौकरी नहीं देते हैं, कहते हैं कि बिल्कुल बढ़िया कर सकता है इसलिए देते हैं. And I have met companies like Spark Minda, Amazon, a lot of others who are hiring. They started hiring on कि चलो एक disability वाले को नौकरी देते हैं, but then the narrative changed. They did hardcore analytics on the performance outcomes, and in many cases the performance is actually better than the other fellows. It is said that all of us in a normal fashion, we have about 150 friends, but a person with disability has 15 friends. तो वो गप्पे भी कम मारते हैं. Attrition rate is much lower. Attrition rate शुरू के एक महीने में ज़्यादा रहता है. A person with disability may be very good fit for the job, but 20 kilometer distance, if the road or the bus or the auto is not disabled friendly, that can be killing. So attrition rates, अगर आदमी एक महीना टिक गया तो they will be very loyal workers. They will be less gossiping workers, and so on. So the output actually can be better. So my request is, you may start with diversity hiring, but then please shift to hiring by proper job mapping and matching the thing and just giving some reasonable accommodations. आपको कहीं बिजली का प्लग चेंज करना पड़े व्हीलचेयर की हाइट से, कहीं टेबल की हाइट चेंज करनी पड़े, कहीं रैंप देना पड़े छोटा मोटा, तो that expenditure probably it will be economically viable in the long run. If you are into pure economics of the things, even that does make sense. And as a society, it makes a lot of sense that पहले तो हम persons with disabilities को नौकरी दें, अपने पैरों पे खड़ा करें. उससे भी बेटर है अगर हम डिसेबिलिटी को प्रिवेंट कर सकें या क्योर कर सकें. So polio can be prevented by vaccines and all, and by mass vaccination, 100% vaccination. अगर 99% भी रह गए तो cases will still be there. So clubfoot probably cannot be prevented, but it is a incredibly visible kind of disability. बच्चा पैदा होते ही पहले सेकंड में पता चल जाता है कि there is clubfoot. A lot of our, majority of our disabilities appear later on in life, जब बच्चा 1, 2, 3 साल का हो जाता है. But this is a disability which is visible right on the day one, right on actually first second. And if there is awareness कि अपने ज़िले में डॉक्टर संतोष का क्लिनिक है गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में या बाजू वाले ज़िले में है, if that awareness is there, अफोर्डेबिलिटी का इशू नहीं है, it's almost free. सिर्फ आपको ट्रांसपोर्ट का खर्चा करना है फैमिली को. So if that awareness is there, then we can practically eliminate the disability. We cannot prevent it from happening, but clubfoot is something which can be totally eliminated. और frankly, आज भी जो जिनका experience नहीं है इस disability से, you might have come across clubfoot only on the, unfortunately, on the traffic lights. All of us see beggars कि पैर टेढ़े हैं, crawl कर रहे हैं. So that is where the transformation is also very visible in this disability. People like Himanshu are extremely rare with this disability and reaching these heights. So unfortunately, he did not have corrective surgeries which were successful, but otherwise the alternative is we see a youth begging on the street, crawling on the streets, versus we saw children today who got timely intervention and who are like, who can do anything in life, who are playing tennis, who are doing skating, who will become doctors, who will become engineers. And from purely economic point of view for society, it makes a lot of sense to spend this money. But it changes the life of that child, it changes the life of that family also. And the expenditure is not much. Total, if we see his budget and the children he's reaching out, it's about 10,000 rupees spent over multiple sittings, multiple shoes, multiple castings. So in about 10,000 rupees, we can transform a life. Issue is not of budget. Luckily, in India, as it was said that from time immemorial, we have people who have contributed to this cause, industrial families, philanthropists. They have always contributed to this cause. Now CSR money has started flowing in. Companies ko bhi, I am seeing a sort of interesting situation here. अच्छी NGOs, अच्छे सरकारी systems asking for money, that number is less. देने वालों की कमी नहीं है. Whenever I get a good project, I ring up anyone from the industry, they will say, हाँ बिल्कुल देते हैं. और वो टरकाने वाली बात भी नहीं होती, पैसा भी immediately आता है. But good projects are less in the market. I think our friend from NBCC also said the same thing, other people also said the same thing, कि projects कम है, अच्छे projects कम है. और इस sector में another thing is that government has a good outreach. So Dr. Santhosh bhi is using the whole government health system. But again, this is a sector which requires, one is professionals, then lot of compassion and passion in this field. So lot of passion is needed, lot of compassion is needed, and lot of professionalism is needed. So all three things have to come together. So that's why the government, despite its outreach, despite having lot of professionals, we need good NGOs, we need good parent associations. This is again a sector which is really dominated by lot of good parent associations. Those can be informal associations, but they drive the change in this sector. So when all of us come together, then the sort of scaling up happens and good solutions happen. So in clubfoot, again, as I said, it's very, very visible disability at childbirth. उसी टाइम पेरेंट्स लेके पहुंच जाएं 5 दिन के बच्चे को, 10 दिन के बच्चे को प्रॉपर प्रोफेशनल के पास. दे कैन गाइड कि पहले महीने में, सेकंड मंथ पे हम कब कास्टिंग चालू कर देंगे. एंड द चाइल्ड कैन बी परफेक्ट बाय सेकंड और थर्ड ईयर. इफ यू मिस दिस बस, then you go into surgery options, which may be successful, which may not be successful. Now, obviously, any non-surgical solution is better than a surgical solution if it is equally effective or even more effective. So that's why I have also sort of started associating my department with this Clubfoot and Cure India organization, because the effect is absolutely transformative. When you see a child with clubfoot and then similar children actually getting absolutely cured 100% cured with zero surgery, with zero medicines, but with just small manual interventions. That is transformative, and the effect, as I said, difference is एक traffic light पे बच्चा भीख मांग रहा है versus a child who is becoming a doctor or a skater or anything in life. So let's all join hands for this. And my again request to corporate sector is that whatever you can do in the sector of disability, आपको CSR का लाभ तो मिलेगा ही, आपको as an individual पुण्य का काम भी है, तो आपको पुण्य भी मिलेगा, और it's a good thing for all of us to come together and work in this sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring words. And sir, you have rightly touched upon the pain areas, like starting from the inclusion part, accessibility part, then moving ahead with the cure part, then of course the role of corporates. It's not just the CSR, but also giving them the jobs. And I would request give jobs on merit, like sir mentioned. There are a lot of talent in the people. Just don't go with the physical appearance and everything. Go with the merit. And when it comes to CSR, it's not just a mandate that corporate has to do. The CSR brings a lot of branding for the corporate as well. So when you engage with an organization like Cure India, which is spread across every nook and corner of the country, you are spreading your brand with them. So whenever I think we are doing the CSR part, let's look at the both ways. It's more of a symbiotic relationship. It's not just a mandate. As a corporate, you also get a brand value. So with these words, again, I would request all the dignitaries to please have a small token from our side.
May I request the staff to kindly. In fact, this is for you.
So once again, thanks all the dignitaries for gracing the event. So can we have another round of applause, please? So I'll request everyone, sir, so please join us for the rest of the event, sir. Now going ahead, we'll have another panel discussion. For that, I would like to invite Brigadier Rajiv Williams, former corporate head, GSL Group, on the stage, please.
May I request the panelists for the second panel to please come on the stage. Dr. Charu, आइए. Dr. Bisht, Professor Sanjay Roy, and Rotarian Raman Bhatia. Maybe a couple of extra chairs. So let's get started. after a very interesting session that we just heard. A lot of key takeaways from that. And that follows on to our next session today. And the session is on partnerships and addressing inclusivity in disability. Disability or differently ability. Whatever you'd like to call it, but I think it's very interesting to follow up with the earlier one or the panel discussion on opportunities and challenges, which you heard in the first session. And I'm very happy that today that all of us sitting here would get some key takeaways from our 4 panelists that are here. And if you see, there is a demonstration about this very discussion that we are going to be talking about, inclusivity. Inclusivity, as you do see, we have Dr. Charu, Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗺, Professor Sanjay Roy, and of course, Rotarian Raman Bhatia, from different areas of activities that they are, and experiences and knowledge and experience that they're going to be sharing with us today. I like the way that, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal spoke from the heart when he talked about various issues of not really carrying or giving sympathy to those who are differently able for employment opportunities, but providing them the opportunities to be employed as a professional, a capable professional. And a capable professional means that with the right skill sets. The right skill sets means that proper training to be imparted. And Mr. Agarwal was earlier in the Ministry of Skills. And being from the Ministry of Skills, I think that benchmark which needs to be achieved amongst those who are not fortunate enough to get those opportunities of getting employment is through skilling route. And this is important when we talk about diversity, of giving them that skills so that they can be employed and they can get a decent living. So I will not be talking too much on these issues, and I'll leave it to our panel to discuss. So the plan that I have, of course, that we'll request the panels to have about 3 to 4 minutes. If you all can just speak about, firstly, introduce yourselves, introduce your organization, and introduce a little bit about what you think about inclusivity in diversity and inclusivity in disability. And I'll start with the ladies first again option of Dr. Charu. Over to you.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir. Very warm good afternoon to everyone. Already it's too warm outside, I'm sure. So first and foremost, I would like to congratulate 𝐬𝐸 for organizing such a great event today on the eve of World Clubfoot Day. And I'm very happy to be part of this esteemed panel today talking about diversity and inclusion. So myself, Charu Sharma, I'm a physiotherapist by profession actually, and I'm currently working with International Committee of the Red Cross, and I'm heading physical rehabilitation program in India. So with the, I would like to start with our partnership with 𝐬𝐸. So it has been about a decade of close working with Dr. Matthew Verghese sir, Dr. Santhosh, and the entire team. So our partnership actually involved supporting them in building capacity of the doctors, which we've been listening also in the morning, that how it is important to have trained professionals at the government hospital, district hospitals. With ICRC, we've been supporting them in a couple of states. And personally, actually, I've been fortunate to visit some of the clubfoot clinics in remote district hospitals, which was, I would say, a kind of learning for me, where I really understood what does access means when it comes to a person in a rural village, a mother with a child born with clubfoot, taking the child to the hospital for weekly casts. So what can it be? What challenges the mother and the family was facing? So going back to the partnership, so capacity building of the hospital staff, doctors primarily, then training of counselors who play a vital role when it comes to follow-up of the clubfoot treatment. Also covering the cost of the brace. The brace, which you all know, which is used for the management of clubfoot. So that was also covered through our partnership. Another important aspect which we focused was resource mobilization, because for us it is important that the partner organization, which is 𝐬𝐸, is able to sustain itself. Often we see that how projects, after a period of support gets, affected by not being able to sustain those project activities. So these were the overview of the kind of support which we've been rendering to 𝐬𝐸. Coming back to inclusion and diversity, I would say, and this is what some of the speakers also spoke about previously, that just providing opportunities, employment opportunities for person with disability is the first step. I would say what is also important is how those employment is sustained in those organizations. Having the kind of development or a progression plan for person with disabilities. And also disability, when we talk of, it's not only just locomotor, it can be intellectual there, and often we are talking about invisible disabilities also. So I think we have to have a proper plan to cater to such kind of issues, different kind of disabilities in the society, and also how to have that sustainable action plan, which is more important, not just doing one thing. I think we have to have a comprehensive, holistic approach where all the organizations can individually contribute to such a sustainable action plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Charu. You being a physiotherapist has a very important role to play. Especially with any of these programs, you've got to take it forward, and therefore your commitment and people like you, their commitment towards this eradication piece is very critical. But you know what happens before children are born, neonatal? Dr. Bisht, you are the General Secretary of the Neonatal Foundation. Share some thoughts about you, about your organization. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir. And as Madam has rightly said, I also extend my gratitude on behalf of National Neonatology Forum, which is 10,000 and more members across India and neighboring countries as well. And we are the group of people who look after newborns, and one of my fellow neonatologists is there, Dr. Sarjan is here, who is working Rainbow right now. I thought I will be the only pediatrician in the hall, but somehow I found Sarjan also is here. So we look after newborns and children, and I'm also a part of Indian Academy of Pediatrics, which is almost a 45,000 strong body of pediatricians across India. And as Charu, I don't know Charu, because the government has started 𝐬𝐸𝐴 𝐂𝐔𝐑𝐄 𝐈𝐧𝐝, and there is a program where we are looking for the 4 Ds, and one of the Ds in that is out of the deficiencies, diseases, deformities, and developmental delays. So deformities is an issue which the government and the pediatricians, because of this 𝐬𝐸𝐴 𝐂𝐔𝐑𝐄 𝐈𝐧𝐝, we are looking very closely to it. And the kind of deformities which can be easily prevented are something which we wanted to look for. Surgical causes, kind of deformities, and deformities which were more of pediatric surgical things and things. Clubfoot, cleft lip, cleft palate, obviously meningomyelocele, spina bifida. These are some of the deformities which we commonly look around. And I was looking at the incidence. What is the prevalence? And as rightly said by in the earlier inauguration also, because I did not attend the first panel, but in the inauguration, Yes, you have 27,000 and more of annual kind of a cohort of babies who are born, because India may have an incidence of, in all the studies, of around 1.2 to 1.8 per thousand, and with a cohort of 2 crore babies, more than 2 crores babies being born every year. The number can be somewhere around 27,000 or so of babies, children with deformities getting born. And personally speaking, till the time I met Dr. Santhosh, as I think Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐿 is here also, sir. And in that disability, I realized that till the time that 𝗟𝗏𝐻𝐾 meeting was happening in March, when the Birth Defect Awareness Month has been launched for the first time in India, that was the first time I realized that such a program is available to us also. And I'm not a person or pediatrician who's just doing clinics. I'm quite a socially aware pediatrician and a networking neonatologist also. And even I don't know about it, so to say that all my fellow pediatricians would know of it, or the pediatrician who's working far away and just taking care of a sick baby with fever, loose stools and diarrhea, pneumonias, or trying to save a newborn from dying, is the person who is actually aware and even cares about clubfoot? I seriously think no. And with the under the 𝐷𝗏𝐺𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸 𝐂𝐔𝐑𝐄 𝐈𝐧𝐻𝐸, the government has actually asked all districts to have a district early intervention center, where we were looking for those 4 Ds as well. And we are trying to pick all newborns, all children till 6 years earlier and then 16 years of age, coming to a center, a one-stop kind of a center for all ailments, where the mothers are, as rightly said by Charu, it is a pain to see mother going from pillar to post, one day in this OPD, another in another OPD, and sometimes for foot, sometimes for heart, sometimes for immunization, sometimes for anemia. And so in the district early intervention center, all these services are provided under one roof, and all the services, all 11 services or so, and in the Center of Excellence we are around 12 or so services are there where these things are provided as of now. So in Delhi, welcome ma'am. In Delhi, ours at Swami Dayanand Hospital, since I'm working in a municipal public hospital, ours is the first DIC in Delhi, and since I don't know, my physiotherapist actually taken care of a clubfoot child, because something happening with this, refer to orthopedics, orthopedics will refer it to somewhere else. I don't know what was happening. Recently, when I was sitting in an ethics committee meeting, and I realized for the first time a Ponseti topic was taken by the DNB student, and our DNB program started just a few years back only. Before that, I think Ponseti was not even heard to me in my hospital as well. So that is the kind of awareness we need to know. And as said, and there's ample amount of you have ample number of cases which you can showcase, and there is a kind of advocacy which you are doing around. I think we met Santhosh and Santhoshi, and we said, as neonatologists, as this body, as Indian Academy of Pediatrics, we must collaborate. And since we are the first stop where people come, they are going to come, we should make an early diagnosis, and the barriers, like the ones said, माँ बाप की कोई गलती होगी, प्रभु का प्रकोप होगा. These are some of the things when we tell them that this is something not because of anything. There were scientific reasons and the reasons which go beyond, and it may not recur to their families, and it is not very familial thing as of. They will listen to it and they will do the treatment. Personally speaking, my own staff, a data entry operator in my hospital, and she had her children with clubfoot, and since our hospital did not have that some 7-8 years back, so we referred the child to Chacha Nehru, and luckily Chacha Nehru Hospital had a clubfoot clinic going on, and now the children are very, very fine. That is the kind of thing which happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bisht. I mean, you've touched upon so many 4 Ds and all that, but the second D that you talked about is deformity. And early identification is the critical part, I think, even in this treatment of clubfoot. And the other point that you touched upon is SDG 17, partnerships. Partnerships even from one department to another department. I mean, whether it's ped and ortho, or it's ped and medical, or whichever department, you keep on, referring. And that's a traumatic experience for the mother especially, and also for the father of the child. So all this put together needs a little bit of awareness, needs the younger generation to get to know about the various disabilities and deformities. And here we have a professor from the Delhi School of Social Work, from Delhi University, Professor Sanjay Roy. You have a very important role to play in the university itself, of creating that kind of an awareness. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. I do and we do. Thank you, all my panelists and of the dais. Before I speak something, I appreciate Dr. Santhosh. A couple of years back, somehow I connected with him. I visited his office in Green Park. So I was waiting for him. I called, who is Dr. Santhosh? Somebody says, sir, Dr. Santhosh is coming. I thought he will be a doctor. When first time I saw him, he resembled like 𝐬𝐸𝑨𝐿𝑖𝑚. I said, he's a doctor. Yes. So immediately I got to know, and when I talked to him, I came to understand that something is inside this person. And really the compassion he has, and now wonderful work he is doing, I think commendable. And from that time I talked to him, I said, yes, I'll collaborate with you, and I will send my students to your agency so that we can work together. So a couple of years we are working, our students are going on to this organization, and they are doing a lot of work, not only in the agency, but they are also collaborating with other organizations, hospitals. Especially they are working like a facilitator, or like a educator, like a coordinator. They are working with this organization. So thank you so much, Dr. Santhosh. You looks like a compassionate person actually, and really you are doing wonder. And this, why I'm saying, and also Dr. Varghese is also here. We work with them also. Actually, I am now heading the Department of Social Work, University of Delhi. Now, as already a lot of people has talked about many things. Presently, more than 26.8 million people, around 2% of population of India, who is having some kind of this kind of food problems. You know, in the world also, 1 out of 800, 750 to 800 people are also facing same kind of this problem. So it's not only India, but the determination that Dr. Santhosh has taken, I think it will be very easy to reduce or to totally root out this problem from India. I'm sure very soon we are going to be #1 to doing that. As far as the inclusivity is concerned, inclusivity is not that only giving job. Inclusivity means let have some say. Let them speak from their own heart what they want, whether they are happy with their life or how they are going through. Inclusivity means let have participate them in decision making. Really, we do that? If it is do that, that is the inclusivity actually. Not only giving a job or giving support, mental support or emotional support. I know a lot of people from this disability doing wonder in the world, even in India. I think that Manish is anchoring, is a role model for all of you. So, when I say inclusivity or partnership, certain points should be remembered, what we can do. Before that, I will tell you what I was thinking, because we work with many unleashed people, many disability, many other concerned people we work. So what I thought, why not let's try one night being a blind man. And yes, I tried in my home. That's how it feels. It's really horrible to become a blind and to become a disabled person and see the way they are handling their life, the whole life. So it's not a sympathy, but the way they come out with a wonderful job, wonderful contribution in the society, I think they should be given a appreciation. And the appreciation should be the person like Dr. Santhosh, who are doing for these people wonderful job they are doing. Some points you should remember, Alois, that already we are talking about. One is equal participation. We have to be ensured that persons with disability, they should have a equal participation. And how it is possible? It is possible. It is possible through giving their support. Like now we are going on digital platform. They should be given training. They should be given opportunity for digital platform also. I know my faculty, there are one disabled faculty, and he knows better than us how you have to use the digital media, digital platform. So if they are given a chance, I think they are a asset for any organization. Somebody was, I think your chief guest was talking about that, yes, maybe as economists, sometime you can think that if we take those in job, we have to spend some more. No, really, they are person who can do wonder. I'll give a small example. In Delhi University on SBI Bank, when I go, there's a 2 person that employed, they are visually impaired. And you can't believe, once you say, I need this, immediately they will do for you. So that kind of capability they have. Just the thing they should be given the opportunity, because they are an asset, I know. And then point, when we talk about the inclusivity and partnership, you should remember that proper and meaningful accessibility. You are talking about accessibility. Accessibility means whether we have accessibility here for disability person is not there. So that's a lacuna somewhere. Recently, I'll give you example. Recently, Rashtrapati Bhavan, the President House, was done a social auditing recently by my department, my fellow colleague. There's no accessibility for disability, I'm telling you. Recently they have done it. So that is the awareness level. So what they want. So that's the problem we should think about. Number 3, proper training and awareness. Always you're talking about, yes, if it is early, prevention is better than cure. So early intervention, it is there, it is curable disease. So
thank you, Dr. Roy. I think you've covered too many aspects.
Thank you.
And I'm sure the
Many
audience
things actually wants to speak.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Important for us to understand the need for professors to take it forward in their own colleges and institutions. And we have Professor Shruti here from 𝐬𝐸 College. And what a person. I mean, I've just met her once, but so dedicated and involved. And that's inclusivity, and she's here today. So thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shruti, too. And all this to put together, we have people who are from the heart reaching out through Rotary, through Inner Wheel, and many other organizations who are helping us out, or helping the people who need that kind of help. And I'll request, of course, Dr. Raman Bhatia, who is the chairman of the International Advisory Board Rotary Action Group for Clubfoot, to share some thoughts with your many years of experience in the Rotary, how you are taking it forward. And let's see if many of us can be benefited from your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brigadier Williams. My journey in Rotary started over 50 years ago. So I have been involved in various service activities. I don't, of course there are social causes, but I don't call them social. It's more of a service activity. We are a service organization in Rotary, and we try our best to do whatever little service we can do. But some 24 years ago, I came into contact with Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐴 in Delhi. At that time, I was spearheading partly the polio campaign in India. And Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐻𝑒𝐴 had started the polio campaign in Delhi, which became so successful that the government of India emulated it throughout the country from 95 onwards. And from 95 onwards till 2011, when we finally eradicated polio, it was a tremendous effort of many, many people. But it was by far the largest ever public-private partnership in medical history. This program, the largest ever designed. And what we learned from that was what the then Prime Minister in 2011 on the eradication of polio in Vigyan Bhavan said, Dr. Manmohan Singh said that we couldn't have done it alone. If it was not for Rotary, it wouldn't have been possible. These are the words of the Honorable Prime Minister after we had met him few times and after convinced him that the Government of India is now today so powerful financially that they don't need any help from the World Bank or ADB. And he immediately had instructed his then Finance Minister that there should be a budget for polio. We should not depend on any loan from anybody when we can afford it. That was the first time when 1,200 crores was sanctioned in the budget with our persuasion, with our advocacy, I would call it, not even persuasion, that the Government of India till today supports this program, and we continue to do that. During that time, many children who could not be saved, as Mr. Rajesh Agarwal rightly put it, that while polio is avoidable through vaccination, but is not treatable. All you can do is a polio patient can be orthopedically given some sort of some sort of betterment. From crawling, he can be brought up. And for that, I found in Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐴 not only an orthopedic surgeon, but a human being for whom medicine would come later, but it was service which came earlier. Every patient which I took to him, which was polio afflicted, and he was getting patients from all over the country. You see, there were people coming from Bihar, from Assam, from South India, everywhere. Because the name of Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐴 and earlier his guru, Dr. Balu Shankaran, who used to be Director General of Health Services, Government of India, and had later settled in the St. Stephen's Hospital retirement, he's actually the pioneer of polio corrective surgery. So, having been associated with that, in 2017, when I was introduced to Dr. Santhosh by Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐴, both Santhosh and I had one thing in common, that let us try and emulate what we did in polio in Clubfoot. And the biggest part was the public-private partnership. So the first thing which Santhosh and Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐴 have so beautifully done is to be able to, probably the first NGO I know of, all 29 state governments have an MOU with CURE. Only NGO where every state government has an MOU, and therefore it gave me as a Rotarian, as Rotary, the satisfaction that we were going correctly with them, because In polio, it was a government program we had supported. Here again, it's a government program under the National Health Mission. And here is an NGO. While there it was the World Health Organization, here it is Cure India, which is the technical organization, headed at that time Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐺𝐿𝐴 was the technical director of Cure. And seeing his work in polio and what he was doing in Clubfoot, I got so motivated that this partnership since then started growing. And I can tell you that every speaker who has been speaking since this morning has talked about support, partnership, inclusivity, support, partnership, inclusivity. Because without a proper partnership, no one, neither can Cure manage it on their own, neither can the Government of India, which is far more powerful. It is the most powerful body in this country. But can they manage it alone? Could they manage polio? No. So the most important thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is that this organization has, with the commitment and passion, not the passion, I would say the compassion, which they have, been able to take this Clubfoot to over 418 clinics. And the ultimate objective is, like someone said, that it has to go to every part of the rural area. So there are about 730 revenue districts in India. Clubfoot clinics are still missing in about 300 of those, 350 of those. We need to have a Clubfoot clinic in every revenue district, either in a medical college or in a civil hospital, but that's the ultimate objective. And by 2030, if that happens, then every child born with Clubfoot will have access to treatment. I think it's a misnomer to say we will eliminate Clubfoot. We will eliminate the disability caused by Clubfoot, and therefore we will reach our objective, which we want to do by saying run for 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhatia. Some beautiful revelations for all of us, actually. What Cure has been doing, what Santhosh and Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐷𝐺𝐿𝐴 and many others who are in this field are doing, what Rotary is doing, but it's the mothers also who have got such a big role to play. The women have got a very big role to play. The inner wheel has a very big role to play. So Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗺, can you share some thoughts about yours, organization, inner wheel, how you all are taking this forward? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Adversity is but a test of our will, a reminder that valleys lead to the hill. So fight with your spirit, unyielding and true, for the power to overcome is within you. In this scorching heat, cool inner-wheel greetings. As I come from inner-wheel, he just said, that is the largest women volunteer service organization present in 100 countries with its representatives in United Nations also. So my cool inner-wheel greetings to all the fellow panelists, everyone on the dais, and all the August gathering. First of all, thank you, Santhosh sir, for inviting me here. I'm coming from another program, so I missed speaking to few August panelists before. I'm sure I would have enriched myself, but representing Inner Wheel, let me tell you, sir, and this is on a lighter note because I understand lunch is approaching. If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. But let me tell you, we are not in competition here. This is to work in tandem for the betterment of society. So as we were talking, Santhosh sir, Inner Wheel has been working with Santhosh sir since long back for Clubfoot and for other things also. And recently we entered into a partnership with the Rotary and Government of Delhi. For coming up, we formed a We Plant organization, that platform. While we are sitting and discussing here about the Clubfoot cases, that is the cure. We aim at targeting prevention also. So why do these cases take place? Because of malnutrition. So Inner Wheel intends to make nutritious forests through either the fresh seeds or through eaten fruits, and the fruits which come up thus can be given to those ladies who are malnutritioned and who cannot afford to buy that. And then, sir, as inclusivity, we've been harping upon this word. I believe it's all in the mind. Inclusivity, we must tell them that you are an integral part of the society. Just throwing them physically in a school where you have so-called normal children, and if we expect for this problem to disappear overnight. That will not so happen, because I believe we stay in a world where it is survival of the fittest. And now that we've come together, not only to discuss our achievements, but to achieve a way forward also, we must discuss it very openly and with an open mind. Even in the classes where we have so-called normal students who develop this depression or inferiority just because of complexion or their social status or for their brain or for their upbringing or whatever. So I believe if you throw someone in those classes and you expect someone who has this congenital deformity to feel absolutely normal, that will not be right. So I believe we have to tell them that inclusivity, it's all in the mind, as all the 5 fingers of the hand are not same. It's absolutely okay. They like something, we like something else. So if we give them that confidence, then wherever they are an asset to our country. They are an asset to our country, they are future generation. And I stand here, thank you so much, and I stand here as District Chairman of 𝐬𝐴 District 301 to reiterate my commitment that 𝐬𝐴, and again as I said, women. So we work through grassroots NGOs, and we not only visit and we talk to so many of them. I'll give you another example. I have 4 of my club friends here with me. When we heard that Clubfoot Day is approaching, I will say bright Clubfoot Day and brighter to come. So we called up Santhosh sir. We said we want to do something. It's not about just awareness. It's about doing something practically. So 𝐬𝐴 District 301 is sponsoring through 𝐬𝐴 Club of Delhi Midtown 25 pairs of Clubfoot. Santhosh sir said one is costing 12,000. Am I right, sir? Treatment for one child. So treatment for one child. So such 25. So thank you, sir, for giving us the opportunity. We say thank you for giving us this opportunity. So this is the feeling all of us have, and I will request Namrata, Neena, Deepa ji, and Preeti here to come here and be here next to me. Because alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. 𝐬𝐴 District 301 is nothing without the support of its members. And friends, let me tell you, I mean, if you knew about 𝐬𝐴 before, nothing like it. If you don't, India has 27 𝐬𝐴 districts. Delhi falls under District 301, which starts right from Rohtak, Sonipat, Gurgaon, Faridabad, coming to Delhi, Ghaziabad, Noida, Greater Noida, Modinagar. So that is District 301, and currently we have 102 clubs. This is my home club, and let me tell you one thing. The lady standing at the far end, she is 𝐬𝐴 𝐂𝐵𝐺𝐴, better half of sir on the stage. So we are a strong team, let me tell you that. So thank you for all the support, my home club, thank you so much. And I just want, and here they have the check. Santhosh sir, if you can come here. That will be a wonderful thing, because we want to do things actually, physically, practically. हमें साथ रहना है, करना है. Financially, yes. Because again, without money, nothing. और हम सिर्फ 2 ही लाइन कहेंगे. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती.
Thank you very much. Yes. आप भी नीचे हो जाइए, पिक्चर एक ले लीजिएगा साथ में. Right, there you are. This very powerful panel discussion outcome is a check for Dr. Santhosh. So thank you very much. In fact, the panels. Before we wind up, I'll give a wrap-up minute, a very key message. And I'll request Dr. Bhatia, in case you can say just one-liner, what you feel most impactful of today's session, and what message you have to convey.
I would say that Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗺 took all the accolades. She's such a dynamic lady, and she's done exactly what was in my mind, that you have to do what you feel. So she has done what she felt. So let's, all of us, if we have in the heart, there's some passion, there's some compassion for children born with clubfoot, then there is an opportunity for each one of us to put in our time and our efforts and our money to see that children born with this disability get treatment all over Delhi, at least for all of us who are sitting here, and then of course all over the country.
Thank you very much. And abhi aayega koi chance. Don't worry. There you are. There is a competition between 𝐬𝐴 and the Rotary. So I'll straight away request 𝗟𝗏𝗺 madam, please, one-liner, one word, please, what you feel that you would like to share.
This is the time to do your bit for society, and every problem is interrelated. We can't be dealing with one at a time, leaving out the rest. Here I am, walking with my steel flask. So I request every one of you from this platform, this is the time where we must get a steel flask inside and not leave it in the car. Since long we've been doing that. Please do that, and trust me, my India will be a better place to live in.
Avoid wastage of water.
Yes.
Absolutely, and also that steel comes from Jindal Steel, also Jindal Stainless. So, thank you. But Surinder, one liner from you, what you feel most impactful.
So, getting inspired by the people who can do it, the first thing I can do is to spread awareness among all my members, and I will certainly want to share the video which you have sent to all my members across India and the part. And this is the thing I can do. And we can certainly, this month is known, has been put as Clubfoot Awareness Month, sir. And the Government of India has already done, Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸𝐺's lecture was in fact, all over the country, the government has asked all health facilities to listen to him. He has just spoken that. The video of that and this kind of thing, I will certainly share it to all my members. Thank you.
Charu, over to you. Yes, please.
Sure. So I would say strong partnership. I think this is the keyword for me. In today's summit, since we have had many CSR representatives, I think this is a time where we have to, pave the way forward, that how can we strengthen this partnership network. Thank you.
Thank you. And Professor.
Yeah, thank you. Two things I will speak here at the end. Partnership. It should be NGO, school, community, youth club, so that we can collaborate with, we can bargain with the government to start new program, new service schemes, whatever. For me, the biggest disability would be if you don't try. That's what I believe. And finally, for all those disabled people, friends, उनके लिए है, मत धिक करो यूं किसी विकलांग को, उड़ने दो थोड़ा उनके विचारों को, हर किसी के पास कुछ ना कुछ खास होता है, जरा मौका तो दो उन्हें हुनर दिखाने के. तो मुझे लगता है कि उनके पास हुनर है, वो दिखाना हमारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. ऑल द स्टेक होल्डर्स शुड कम टुगेदर and the word we can do. So that is the ultimate word I believe we can do.
Well, thank you everybody for giving us a patient hearing. And thank you very much for the panelists who have been giving some thoughts, culminating in Dr. Shruti to say a few words that will be most important as far as inclusivity is concerned. So Dr. Shruti, please, over to you.
I did not have planned for speaking today, and I thought I have to be shut up. I'll not be speaking a word. But matter came as such that I have to intervene and speak. मौका देने की बात नहीं है, हुनर दिखाने की बात नहीं है, हम हुनर दिखा रहे हैं, आपको पहचानने की बात है.
बहुत बढ़िया, शुक्रिया.
और बात ये है कि all the disabilities we can eliminate, we can prevent, we can care for, but with disability also people are living. We have to recognize them, their family, their everyone, whoever is related to them, as human being, like Dr. 𝐬𝐸𝐺𝐸 does. Thank you so much.
God bless you, and thank you everybody as we conclude our panel discussion. And thank you panelists for bringing a brilliant panel. Thank you. Can you photograph of the panel, please? एक photograph कीजिए. पढ़े लिखे आपके लिए.
Thank you, sir.
Charu. Professor Sanjay.
Then.
One group photograph, lady.
Group photograph. आप सर आगे जाओ.
Dr. 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐴.
सर आप ऊपर आ जाइए. सर आप ऊपर आ जाइए.
Why? He's an orthopedic. Oh, all right. There you go. That's it. हम आगे आए. Thank you. Thank you very much. The group photograph है आगे आगे.
We'd like to try if we can take a larger group photo. Please come forward. Please come forward as much as, and we would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Vikas. Sir, please come forward. Please come forward. And others also, please come forward. Ma'am, please come. Yeah? Yeah. Shamshir sir, please come. Come, all of you come. From ONGC, please come. Others, Engineers India Limited, HCL, please come. Please come. GAIL, Gas Authority of India, please come forward. May I also request Andrew, please come. Atula, Shilpa, please come forward. Please come forward. Some more people are coming. Come. Pratap. Okay. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Let them also come. Pratap, come. Mohammed Ali. So kindly join for lunch, and thank you so much once again for this wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Excellent. हमारे पास तो 𝐷𝐼 का